For some, the sport of kings is a lucrative, glamorous world. But just as in football, away from the Premier League, it's anything but that. In horse racing, it's not just the betting ring where there are high stakes. Being a jockey can cost you your life. So what makes a rider risk everything? To find out, I've come to follow 30-year-old jockey Charlie Poste. He crawled out of bed at just after 6:15 a.m. to grab a quick cup of tea before his working day begins. Other than tea, he won't be drinking or eating much more. He can't, you see, if he wants to ride at 10 stone.
I'm not going to say I look forward to this part of the day. I mean, it's always great when there's a busy day on, a couple of chances later on, but I don't think it makes getting out of bed in the morning any easier now.
It's going to be a long one. Later, he's off to ride at Chepstow, and his last mount is over 11 hours away. Driving is part and parcel of being a jockey, and not just to the races. By 7:15 a.m, Poste is already on the road. So what's he up to?
We're just on the way over to Robert Whaley Cohen's place up in between, sort of in between Stratford and Banbury. And we've got
So the owner of Long Run?
The owner of Long Run, indeed, yeah. He's got a lovely place and a smashing gallop that he kindly lets Robin use, and we're going to gallop a few of Robin Dickens' horses. As far as I know, I think I'm going to ride a mare called Autumn Spirit that she would have won 3 on the bounce last season, but unfortunately tipped up at the last at Kempton. Then she's had a few niggly sort of veterinary problems, and she's been back in work a while now. As far as I know, she's had a wind up, and we're going to give her a gallop today because she's in at Kempton on Tuesday, and we're just going to see that she's spot on for that.
It's now getting on for sort of 7:20. Is this an average morning for you? Is this what you do day in, day out? Yeah,
this is it, day in, day out. I mean, to be fair, today actually hasn't been so bad. Obviously, I had to get up a bit earlier to meet and greet you guys, but obviously this is only 20 minutes from home, so it's actually quite often a bit of a later start than normal. I wouldn't have to be out of bed as early as normal.
And do you ever have to drive a long way to ride work? Do you ever go on a real journey, or do you try and keep it as local as possible?
I think as you get into the career a bit longer, you try and keep it like in and around where you are. But I mean, obviously, I have a long-standing connection with Richard Lee, and he's over by Ludlow, so that'd take me an hour and 40 minutes in the morning. I tend to go there in the height of the season, maybe once a week, or certainly probably around now, once a fortnight, so that'd be the furthest I'd go.
I mean, schooling horses, is this a chance when you think to yourself, well, hold on, I might find something that's really worthwhile, or is it sort of going through the motions of a job?
From a personal point of view, I really enjoy schooling at home, and maybe everyone doesn't, but I always look forward to going to schooling. Like you say, it's nice, certainly with the novices and the younger horses, getting them off the ground and seeing how they take to it. And I mean, look, obviously we're getting towards the end of the season now, so there's not as much going on, but I mean, certainly when you start out in the autumn, it's an exciting time. Gallop a few of the youngsters and hurdlers that'll be going chasing, etc. That can always be a fun time.
Of course, in the afternoons, you have an ambulance following you around when you're racing. You won't have that this morning, but presumably the dangers are still there. I mean, effectively, you are still putting your neck on the line at this time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously today we're not going to be doing any schooling, so it's galloping on the flat. I mean, I suppose relatively there are a few dangers. I mean, I'd be fairly hopeful that there's only a couple of others coming with us, and I'd be hopeful that if I do come off, they won't gallop over the top of me. But yeah, I mean, obviously that there are, but hopefully this morning should go fairly smoothly, and we shouldn't have a lot of danger.
Poste arrives at Whaley Cohen's lavish property.
All right.
After a few minutes, Dickens' team is here, and he's given the leg up.
4 then, yeah.
He prepares to gallop the 9-year-old chestnut mare Autumn Spirit. They travel about 4 miles together, although not all in one go.
And I mean, you can just catch a hold of him a bit, you know. Like, don't drive the head off him, but just hands and heels and just catch a hold of him.
Poste is pleased with how Autumn Spirit went.
Yeah, she went well. Yeah, like, you know, she's obviously been off a long time, and we wanted to bring her here and just get a decent blow into her and see if she's right for Tuesday. And to be fair, when we come up there 4 times, you'd normally find them out, and she's galloped up there really well, nice and clean in her wind as well. So hopefully the little operation that she's had has helped. And to be fair, you'd be pleased with. I thought they all worked really well together. Actually, they've all got up there really nicely. So bodes well, yeah.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Robert.
From Whaley Cohen's, we travel to the stable in Warwickshire, where Autumn Spirit spends most of her time. It's now 9:15 a.m.
Well, yeah, we're just going to roll back into Robin Dickens on the way through. I just got one that I've got to sit on quickly there. Probably grab a cup of coffee with him, and then, then we'll drive on down to Chepstow after that.
So we've been up now since 6 o'clock. It's getting on for 9:30. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, there can't be any other professional sportsman who's going to be expected to peak, as you are, later on today at 5:30 in the afternoon, having done all that you've done so far today. I mean, it's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, like you say, I'm sure if you're a professional footballer, you wouldn't be in to have a full training session in the morning, then carry on through the day and play later on this evening. But I suppose it's always been the way, and it's an important part of the job to get in and get round the yards and have a sit on the horses, give them a jump and ride them in bits of work so you get acquainted with them, and hopefully then that will give you some sort of edge on the track, you know, having a bit of continuity with the horse you're riding.
We've got the drive to Chepstow to come, but I mean, how tiring is that for you? I mean, the travelling seems to be the thing that gets jockeys down.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt like the endless travelling isn't ideal. I mean, certainly, like obviously with the jumping lads, we try and share lifts with each other where we can, and that gives us a bit of a break from the driving all the time. And obviously you have a bit of the crack with the lads driving to and fro. But there's no doubt that probably the worst part of the job, maybe apart from the wasting, is the travelling, no doubt.
At 10 a.m, Poste pops on top of the 9-year-old bay gelding Badger's Cove, and they school together over a few poles.
Right, I canter on.
Afterwards, Poste swigs another tea, checks out some form on his rides to come, and then it's Chepstow. Here we go.
You've got up early, you've driven around, you've ridden 2 bits of work at 2 different places. You're now on the motorway to Chepstow. So far as I'm aware, unless you've had sneaky food without offering anything to me, you've had tea.
Again, like sometimes the wasting can be hard, but it's not something that it's certainly not something that you'd want to moan about. At the end of the day, we all choose the job that we do, and I mean, again, we all, due to our own physical shapes and sizes, choose the weight that we sort of want to ride at and be comfortable at. So, like, no one's asking me to do it, and if you wanted to ride at heavier weights, then you could just let your weight rise. And again, it's not something that really crosses your mind a lot during the day. Certainly when you're going racing for 3 rides, hunger isn't an issue, no.
Chepstow has been a lucky course for Poste, who in his best seasons has ridden a maximum of 24 winners. At the Welsh venue in 2011, he landed the Coral National on Le Beau Bay.
Charlie, when you won the Welsh National on Le Beau Bay, what did that mean to you? Was it a massive day?
Yeah, huge day. I mean, we all go into the job wanting to ride big winners. I mean, we ride plenty of winners, but it's the big winners that really count when it's all over. And yeah, I mean, it was like a breakthrough winner for me, and I was lucky enough to ride another couple of big televised winners after it last season. So yeah, it meant an awful lot. Yeah.
but last in the Welsh National, and Le Beauvais jumps it well. Giles Cross in second, Capa Bleu is 12 lengths down. Le Beauvais with 150 yards to run is holding Giles Cross. Capa Bleu bench warrant for the placings, but driven out towards the line. Le Beauvais, third in 2009, will win the Coral Welsh National. Le Beauvais for Charlie Poste and Richard Lee.
I'm not sure if the last 2 weeks are standard or not, but when you run through the rides you've had over the last couple of weeks, and obviously we're towards the end of the jump season, but you've had 9, an 80 to 1 shot, 2 66 to 1 shots, a 50 to 1 shot, 2 25 to 1 shots, 2 20 to 1 shots, and a 3 to 1 shot. And I should point out the 3 to 1 shot you pulled up. How do you get any enthusiasm to literally put your neck on the line when you look at those sort of prices of the horses you're riding?
I think the way you've got to look at it is that, yeah, I mean, it can be tough when you go through a bit of a spell like that, but I definitely know that if I didn't ride them, there'd be a queue of people that would be more than happy to, and sometimes there's a means to an end. The younger horses that are going to be more next year's horses that are running in novice hurdles that aren't good enough to win novice hurdles, but are working their way towards a handicap mark, and it's all part and parcel of the job, and you go through a spell like that is very frustrating, and you try and look into it a bit more and see could you be riding different things or, you know, getting on more horses, but the job is just hugely competitive at the moment, and you look through the paper and 9 times out of 10 the rides that are there are taken up by people that have a connection to the trainer, so it's difficult. You know, you can only just keep doing your job and hoping the horses run well for you and keeping everyone happy, and just hope that more opportunities open themselves up.
When some jockeys retire, particularly, well, obviously when they're not the very top jockeys, they're often described as journeyman jockeys. Would you describe yourself as a journeyman jockey, or would you be quite offended by that?
Maybe I am, but no, it's certainly something I wouldn't describe myself as. I mean, we're all professional sportsmen, professional jockeys, grafting away and doing our job. And I mean, look, there's a lot of fantastic riders out there that ride hardly any winners, but I mean, I think given the opportunities that they'd be more than capable of riding plenty of winners. So I think when it boils down to it, we're all jockeys. Some of us are more successful than others, but we're all there plying our trade, hoping to get on a good horse and hoping some doors open that progress to more winners and more exposure.